This is going to be going out over MBR Maine. Welcome back. Sports Time 780 across the MBR Radio Network from the Spectrum Healthcare Partners Studios. It's the B-List Daily from 10 a.m. to noon, weekdays. Joined now for our regular weekly appearance, the man, the myth, the legend, Michael Hoffer, getting ready for big sports night. Big sports night tonight with the Patriots playing on a Thursday. Now, does this affect any of the games you cover high school wise on the schedule, knowing that the Patriots are on tonight at 8:15? Does that change anything for you?
Well, just between you and I, Maddie, and I know you have a whole lot of listeners out there too, but it might slightly affect what my schedule is tonight. I made sure the last game I covered today was a 5 o'clock start, so I will still be at 2 games today, but it won't be a 6 or 7 p.m. game. That
makes a lot of sense. Let's talk a little bit about. I want to actually start off talking about Cape Elizabeth.
Yes.
Cape Elizabeth Leavitt, huge game on Friday night. We'll have that on MBR.org, MBR Sport. Subscribe on YouTube, be notified when we go live. You can also hear it on 92.7 or right here on Sports Time 780. With Cape Elizabeth coming in, what do folks need to know about the Capers? Because this seems like it's going to be probably the toughest matchup Leavitt's faced so far. This is probably going to be even tougher than the Freiburg game, from what it sounds like.
Yeah, the interesting thing about Cape is they graduated almost everyone from last year, and that was a team that was just a couple plays away from winning a state title. So, obviously this program reloads, but they probably have never reloaded this well and this quickly. And other than one stumble down at Wells, which was a very close game and could have gone either way, no one's come even close to stopping this team. So, what they always do really nicely is they have a nice balance of running and passing. They play tough defense. You don't think of Cape Elizabeth kids as, gritty, in the trenches, hard-nosed kind of defensive players, but that always seems to be this team's calling card, and it has been as long as Aaron Filio's been coaching. So, good luck moving the ball, good luck scoring a lot of points. You kind of have to treat them like Wells does and try to keep this as low-scoring as possible. Take advantage of whatever mistakes you get. If you can get a lead, great, because if you're playing from behind, chances are you're not going to have a very good evening. Certainly Leavitt being at home gives them an advantage. It's kind of nice to see this rivalry renewed. Of course, the teams met in the state final back in 2009. They had some other battles over the years. Didn't play last year, and they might meet twice this year before all is said and done. But, this Cape team is legit, and I expect them to come up to Turner and put on a good show. That might be the game of the weekend.
Mike, this is Mike Haley.
Yes, sir.
How are we doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. I saw Leavitt versus Yarmouth last week.
Yep.
Score was that game was a lot different than the score. Leavitt is a very explosive team. Can Cape handle that?
Well, I think, I certainly, they'll probably give up some points, but I'm expecting Leavitt's going to give up some points, too. I mean, I don't see this being a 14-7 game. And, both teams will do what they do well, and it's just a question of who takes better care of the ball and, who executes better when they have the opportunities. But, yeah, I mean, I expect that both teams will get the job done on offense, and it should make for an exciting game. Hopefully someone's covering it and broadcasting it.
Oh, hey, we'll be there for that. What do you know? Weird how I took a look at that a few months ago, and I'm like, why are we not at Cape at Leavitt? I'm like, hey, Ryan, how you doing? He's like, I'm at Disney that week, but you're in. I'm like, okay, thanks. So, yeah.
There you go.
Hey, Michael, Dave Wing, what kind of an offense does Cape feature? Are they the spread like everybody else, or are they more traditional?
Well, they do a little of everything, really, and that's what makes them tough. They can throw the ball. Andrew Hartel, he's one of the biggest quarterbacks you'll see. He's somewhere in the 6'6" range. He's one of their basketball players.
Wow.
And he's he's certainly. It's not like you're going to cloud his vision, because he can certainly stand taller than anything at the line. But they also can have a standard formation and run effectively. So they really do a little bit of everything.
Talk with Michael Hoffer from The Forecaster. Any names we should be watching out for? Any other names we should be watching out for Cape on Friday night?
Well, Ryan Weir's kind of their bell cow back, and he played a little bit of a role last year. Like I mentioned, they graduated so much, so he didn't see the ball as much as he's seeing it this year. But I'd expect to see him getting the majority of their carries tomorrow.
Michael Hoffer from The Forecaster.
What do they do defensively, Mike?
Well, they're pretty standard. They stand up and make you beat them. I mean, it's really pretty simple stuff. Coach Filio is a Coach Wolfgram disciple. He played for him.
Played at 52 then.
It's basic in the trenches who can do your job better, and there's not a whole lot of exotic looks. It's, they're gonna do it. Then they always have good athletes in the secondary and in the linebacking core. So they're solid up and down that unit.
Have to earn it against them, don't you?
Yes, very, very true. And most teams, even Wells, when they beat them, only scored 2 touchdowns. So you're not going to put up a ton of points against this defense.
Yeah.
Is this the week Portland finally gets off the snide, gets into the win column? They've had a couple of close calls.
Well, if it's not, it might not happen in 2017. And it's funny. I could say Portland could be 3-2 right now, and that's really not hyperbole. They could be, but they're just not finishing out these close games. They did a few good things last week against Cheverus. It looked like the momentum was in their favor. And then Cheverus burned them with a couple big plays. And, Portland was without 2 of their studs, Teron Moss and Griffin Foley. I'm not sure they'll be back this week either. But, going up to Bangor, it really shouldn't matter. They should win this game. And this is a program with a lot of pride. And it's been a long time since they've started 0-5, not to mention 0-6. And with Lewiston and a resurgent South Portland team awaiting them the rest of the season, they really need this win to punch their playoff ticket. And, I got to believe that they're going to break through, but it certainly has been a struggle all year for this group.
Talk with Michael Hoffer from the Forecaster. Cheverus heads up to Lewiston this weekend as well. What should we be looking for from Cheverus as they're coming off of a big win? And Lewiston coming off of a big surprising loss last week to Deering.
Yeah, they really let that one slip away. And, it'll be interesting to see how Lewiston bounces back because, every team does well when things are going well. But, giving up an 18-point lead with 6 minutes left, pretty tough to swallow. At least they're home. And, Cheverus has not done well away from home. Their 2 wins are on their home field this year. Otherwise, they haven't been as successful. A big part of their offense is running back Max Coffin, and I'm hearing he might not play this week, so that will certainly limit what they can do. They really don't throw the ball much at all. They're kind of a ground and pound attack, and they'll mix in a few. Last week they burned Portland with a quick screen, but, for the most part, Cheverus doesn't do a whole lot throwing the ball down the field. So I think they're going to have their hands full. Big game, though, for playoff positioning. Certainly, if Cheverus can win and get to 3-3, they'll be right back in the mix and maybe looking at a home playoff game down the road. If not, like Portland, they're really looking uphill, and they're going to have a tough time the rest of the way.
Michael Hoffer from the Forecaster joins us. Go ahead, Coach Wayne.
Oxford Hills at Scarborough.
Yes.
What are you thinking?
Oh, that's next week. Yeah, Scarborough's got Wyndham this week.
Scarborough's got Wyndham this week.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. TA's at Oxford Hills this Friday night.
Yes, yeah, and that's kind of an interesting matchup, isn't it? You got TA coming off a surprisingly lopsided loss. I don't think many people were surprised Bonnie Eagle beat them, but I was at that game, and for a half, TA was right there with them. They drove down with the opening kickoff, took an early lead. Even right before halftime, it was a 19-14 game, and then Bonnie Eagle kind of had a back-breaking drive to go up at halftime, and then they just put the pedal to the metal in the third quarter, and left no doubt that at least at this point of the season they're a team without peer. So now TA has to dust themselves off, take the road trip, and play a team that's had a lot of success so far this year. So TA's got a lot of firepower. I think it'll be tough for Oxford Hills to slow them down, but if they can force a few turnovers or maybe get an early lead, anything's possible.
Can anybody beat Bonnie Eagle?
At this point, I'm leaning to no. Injuries, you never know. There'll be issues down the road. Scarborough gets a crack at them the last week of the regular season. Very curious how that game shakes out to see if Scarborough is within hailing distance, because obviously Thornton Academy, and Bonnie Eagle just wore them down. And you could see, and this was at Saco, too. I think that if this game were out in Standish, it would have been a little more understandable. But the fact that Bonnie Eagle came into Hill Stadium and won that decisively certainly was a statement maker.
Yeah,
they look very much like the team to beat.
Yeah.
Talking with Michael Hoffer from the Forecaster. Of course, you can follow him on Twitter, 4Sports. All right, the real reason you're here, Michael, is because Patriots are playing tonight. We need to get your official Patriots preview and prediction for today.
Well, I haven't even made it yet, so I'm gonna break it here. I am very, very pessimistic about this defense right now, and bothered, and the fact that they're on such a short week is very worrisome. And Tampa's pretty good. I think they're gonna have a real tough time tonight. I really do. I think Tampa's gonna squeak this one out late. Maybe on another game-ending field goal. I'm going 27-24. Obviously, hope I'm wrong. I think Brady's going to put up his points. Can the defense do anything? Even a few stops, a turnover here or there, anything would be a positive. But there's not much reason for confidence at this point, especially coming in on a short week when they really didn't have a chance to tweak anything from the Carolina game.
Michael Hoffer from the Forecaster joins us each and every Thursday. He previews all the teams that we don't get to see so that we know what we're talking about when we do see them, i.e. like this week when Cape Elizabeth visits Leavitt. Mike, thank you very much, and enjoy the game this afternoon that you're covering, and enjoy the game tonight. Hopefully it's enjoyable, and I'll be looking forward to your tweets on it.
Oh, I can't wait, and enjoy your game tomorrow. I'll be looking forward to following that one as well.
All right. Well, we'll try to get you as much information as we can out of that, but I don't know how. Wing's not going to be there tweeting it, so we'll have to figure it out. I might actually have to do the tweeting this week. So
that works for me.
We'll see. Thank you very much, Michael.
Have a good weekend.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
That's Michael Hoffer from The Forecaster. Of course, you can find him on the old tweet machine. Just look for 4Sports, FORE.
Falmouth Orthopedic Center. Central Maine Orthopedics. OA Centers for Orthopedics. All playing on the same team. Maine's top orthopedic practices have joined forces for more efficient and affordable orthopedic care. Introducing Spectrum Orthopedics.
Our goal here at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to raise your program or group the most amount of money possible in the shortest amount of time, hassle-free.
Over the last 3 years, we've been able to raise over $10,000 every year, which has really allowed us to get the extra stuff the kids really need to run a successful program.
One of our biggest goals at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to really develop a relationship on the ground with the coaches, the community, and the boosters that are involved, and help bring them together and understand how important it is to fundraise.
All aboard MBR.org, the place to get all your high school and amateur sports news and information. MBR.org is in high gear with Maine high school winter sports. Go to MBR.org to chat about your favorite team. Find the latest articles, travel news, and cancellations. Or visit their all-new and very popular team pages. MBR.org has everything you want to know about high school and amateur sports in Maine. Coming in February, all the high school tournament action at your fingertips 24/7. It's high school sports heaven. All aboard MBR.org.
Now, significant injuries or anything during that game?
Yeah, we had a couple injuries in that game. We lost both of our tight ends and defensive ends for part of the game, and we lost one of our guys in the secondary. So those guys got an evaluation yesterday. It looks like at least two of the three are going to be back, and then we'll get the final word on Wednesday on the other one. So a little bit costly when you lose some guys, but we've been pretty healthy up to this point. So it's part of it, and we'll kind of move on.
I think people don't understand what any team faces at any level. You get two key kids hurt. I'm watching Wyndham this year. I mean, I don't know all the ins and outs, but my understanding is they've had a couple of discipline cases. They've had 3 or 4 key people get hurt, and suddenly they're a shell of what they thought they were going to be and what people thought they were going to be. It does make a difference.
Yeah, if you go back to last year, we had a lot of injuries last year, and playing a lot of young kids and playing a lot of older kids every snap of the game, I think caught up with us over time, and it makes it hard, especially if you don't have a lot of depth. We're fortunate this year to have a little more depth than we did last year, so. Within the game, we just kind of plugged in the next guy on the depth chart, and those guys played pretty well. And then offensively, not having those two guys, it kind of changed us formationally a little bit in the second half. We had to use a lot more spread formations without the tight ends, and we used some bunch formation in the second half, and just kind of did some different things to account for not having those guys. But it definitely makes you adjust your game plan, and then when you get into the next week and you're not sure if you're going to have those guys or not, you kind of got to have a couple plans going in. So we've kind of schemed up a few things depending on whether or not we're going to have those guys, and hopefully we'll have them all Friday.
It's funny, last week off the air we talked about so many people running the spread, and everybody was starting to load up in the middle and saying, you're not going to run that, now what are you going to do? And we saw an example of that Saturday. Oxford Hills made some tremendous adjustments. That's how they won that game. So looks to me like, people are saying, okay, let's try this, and then there'll be adjustments, and then everybody will go to
that's the old,
different.
I think I've heard Coach Haley say it before, the last guy with the chalk's going to win, usually.
That's right.
You know what, we were talking about that on the way to Yarmouth the other night, about how probably the best part of coaching is just that right there, where you get into a game and the guys on the other sideline are, they're going to have a good game plan, and they're going to make adjustments, and we're going to make adjustments, and that back and forth is kind of what you look forward to. And, there's also a back and forth over time where, one year a team defends you a certain way, and you have to kind of go back and say, all right, well, this is the way we need to attack that team the next time we play them. And then you might have some success, and then they're going to turn around and they're going to make some adjustments. So sometimes it's not just within the game, it's over the course of, 4 or 5 or even 8 or 10 years. I remember when we were playing Gardner a lot, in the late, the 2005 to 10 kind of area when Matt Brown was coaching there with Jim Palmer and those guys. And, just the back and forth with those guys every time with what we were going to do offensively and what they were going to do defensively. It's good stuff. So that's what makes it fun.
Yeah, I said always playing Lawrence and Mount Blue and Winslow, there's a core there that you couldn't wait to try to, it's a chess match, compete against them and see what you could do.
Yeah.
Cape Elizabeth this week.
Yep.
They're good. I don't think there's any question about that. What's their strength?
Well, they're very good defensively. They've got one of the top-ranked defenses, not just in our league, but in the state. They've got some pretty good size in the front. A couple of defensive linemen that are just good size, stout kids, and then their 2 linebackers are fantastic. The names escape me off the top of my head, but 48 and 55, they're good players. 48 is also the fullback. He's a big physical kid, kind of a typical like wing T type of fullback who can really, he can really grind out some yardage inside, and he's a great lead blocker when they run some of their ISO stuff or some of their I formation stuff. But defensively, man, those guys, they're big, they're physical, and they really run to the ball. So we're going to have to kind of account for them.
They play a 4 front or a 5 front?
Yeah, they're a 40 front, pretty traditional 4-4. I'm sure they'll have some adjustments specific to us and our formations and what we do. But, yeah, their base is out of the 44. And, they get the tailback also plays free safety, so he's a great athlete in the back of that thing. And they get a couple of corners that are pretty quick, too. So they're pretty good all over the field defensively. We've got our work cut out for us.
Any kids last week that you want to recognize that maybe did some work above and beyond?
I mentioned Bryce Hudson before. He probably had his best running game of the year from the tailback spot. Just ran really, really hard in the second half, and we got some good seams, and he finishes his runs pretty well. Damian Calder gave us another great game. He kind of comes off the bench for us, and we plug him in, maybe 12 to 15 snaps a game, and he once again made a couple of big plays that really helped us out when we needed it. So it's good to see, he's just a sophomore, so some guys like that stepping up. And then we have a senior, Tristan Swan. He's a 4-year guy in our program, a real hard worker, and when we had some guys get injured, he was kind of the guy that had to come in and play. And, he deflected a couple of passes, he had a sack, he played his run responsibilities really well. So it's nice to see other guys who have been working hard, and maybe they're on the look team a lot in practice, or they're getting second team reps in practice. To see those guys go out and have some success when they get their opportunity, that's what it's about.
It's another quote from Coach Haley: "Make them play you. If you play well enough and they see you, then they're gonna take another look at you." So.
Yeah, we tell kids all the time that if you get your chance to get on the field, you make it so that the coach doesn't want to take you off. And we had some guys that really stepped up, and they're making the most of their opportunities. So I remember Coach Moynihan back in the day had a saying about a Coke machine, and when you buy one Coke, another one just pops in and replaces it. It's just like it, and that's what you shoot for. That doesn't always happen, but it's nice to see our guys come off the bench and step up like that.
I laughed last week when I was interviewing Coach Nicholas from Lewiston. You had said just before that you had a special team situation. The kid didn't go in, you used a timeout. He said, "Wow, I just thought that only happened to me."
No, that happens everywhere. I think we had to use a timeout to start the second half because we had 12 guys on the field on the first play of the half on offense. So, that obviously is disappointing as a coach.
Yeah,
that one's on you.
A little bit. All right, Coach. Well, thank you. Good luck this week.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Our goal here at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to raise your program or group the most amount of money possible in the shortest amount of time, hassle-free.
Over the last 3 years, we've been able to raise over $10,000 every year, which has really allowed us to get the extra stuff the kids really need to run a successful program.
One of our biggest goals at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to really develop a relationship on the ground with the coaches, the community, and the boosters that are involved, and help bring them together and understand how important it is to fundraise.
All aboard MBR.org, the place to get all your high school and amateur sports news and information. MBR.org is in high gear with Maine high school winter sports. Go to MBR.org to chat about your favorite team. Find the latest articles, travel news, and cancellations. Or visit their all-new and very popular team pages. MBR.org has everything you want to know about high school and amateur sports in Maine. Coming in February, all the high school tournament action at your fingertips 24/7. It's high school sports heaven. All aboard MBR.org.
Falmouth Orthopedic Center. Central Maine Orthopedics. OA Centers for Orthopedics. All playing on the same team. Maine's top orthopedic practices have joined forces for more efficient and affordable orthopedic care. Introducing Spectrum Orthopedics.
Matt Boutwell, Steve Flynn with you here. New graphics, Leavitt, Cape, Spectrum Healthcare Partners Studios. On the radio side of things, CMCC, Hammond Lumber Game of the Week on Maine's Big Z 92.7 and Sports 780. Find it all online, whether you want to watch it, listen to it, or listen to it later, or watch it later, whatever it is. Just go to mbr.org or check out MBR Radio on Twitter. Also, Johnny Mailer here tonight with the MBR Spectrum Spotlight. He'll be on the field. It's all going to start with a drone shot. That's all I can tell you.
A very epic drone shot, apparently. One he's been seeking to get for a while, and he says that he got. So we'll all look forward to that.
Yes, I think this is going to be an excellent game tonight. Leavitt has been pretty much scoring at will for most of the year, except for a couple of games there here and there when they played some tougher opponents. Gardner gave them a little run there at 19-7. Freiburg Academy was a tough Saturday afternoon road game, 17-14. And last week, on the road at Yarmouth really did the kind of Super Bowl 25 New York Giants thing and just kept the ball away from the high-powered Leavitt offense. Couldn't score, even though they got inside the 20 8 times. It was pretty surprising that to see Yarmouth holding them down last week with a 14-point lead. Coach Haley talked about it on Thursday, and he was surprised by that. I know that. Were you at all surprised last week by the remember when we were at halftime last week and we were like, Yarmouth is only down 14-0 or something. I mean, it was surprising.
Score is not always an indicator of how close the contest necessarily is, and I think a lot of times the offense will get a lot of attention for both of these clubs. Only Freiburg has allowed fewer points defensively.
All right. We'll take a break for the anthem. We'll be right back. More cowbell on that. Definitely more cowbell. We are back in the Spectrum Healthcare Partners broadcast booth. MBR Game of the Week. Subscribe to MBR Sport on YouTube. You'll be notified when we go live. We see you out there subscribing during games because you're like, oh, hey, they do this every Friday. Yep, usually. Sometimes Saturday. Depends on the game. Cape at Leavitt tonight. Of course, I want to thank our good friends at Maine Athletic Fundraising for helping us get the coaches' interviews that you hear in the pregame show. On the radio side of things, it's Maine's Big Z 92.7 Sports Time 780. It's the CMCC Hammond Lumber Game of the Week. Coach Hathaway, Coach Filio headed out to midfield with the captains.
Captains for Leavitt: Caleb Brown, Tim Albert, Nolan Cabral, and I would believe, if I had to guess, Aiden Barlow. Looks like it is Luke Houle, Mr. Glanville.
No relation to Jerry, I guess. Huh?
Don't believe so.
That's disappointing. It's okay though. Oh, go ahead.
Other numbers are just getting blocked, so you go right ahead.
Yeah, we'll see him in a second.
We're ready to rock and roll, though. I'll tell you what.
Coin toss is right up in the air. Jerry Norton on the field. This is back-to-back Jerry Norton games.
Wow.
By the way, I was told last week that the questionable personal foul is Cape has won the toss and they will defer, so Leavitt will get it to start. The call that they had last week, the 15-yarder, according to a photographer from a good source, it was a legit hit.
Legit hit, a non.
Right.
Okay.
Legit. Someone you'd be like, oh, okay, well, if they say so, they probably saw it.
For those wondering at home, the timeout tracker is back in action.
The timeout tracker is back in action, yes.
All right.
We got everything good here?
We're good to go.
That young lady came up to...
Yeah, I got one number change for you.
Perfect. Cape Elizabeth and Leavitt meeting at the 50-yard line, their respective 50-yard lines.
You're good to go.
Leavitt undefeated, much like their neighbor, Edward Little. We'll try to get you scores on that Edward Little Deering game. Also, Lewiston Chevrolet tonight as well.
Unlike their neighbor, second in heel point standings, even though they've got that undefeated record. Of course, Edward Little on the top of Class A North, but here, Class C South, funny how they shake out, 5-0. They're number 2 hole, Matty. So, this game
behind
could be,
a team they beat in Freiburg, which is interesting.
Which is fascinating. I mean, it just goes to show you which teams they've had a chance to beat. This game is worth a lot of points to to both of these teams. And I'm expecting a real good matchup here tonight.
Teams getting ready to take the field. Hajmil Carr be kicking it off. Shout out to the folks at Cape Elizabeth for the phonetic rosters.
Oh, yeah. Outstanding.
I'm going to get, if there was a class on things to give people, they should give the class on phonetic rosters. Well,
Damian Calder and Caleb Brown back to receive for the Hornets.
Carr's kick is away. Back deep, that's going to be fielded by Calder, and he's going to get stopped out past the 20, out to the 23-yard line. Tim Albert and the Leavitt Hornets offense hits the field. No score, just underway here. Cape won the toss and deferred.
Tell you, it's a Leavitt offense. They know what to expect. You and I had a conversation on the way here about how the skill positions match up team for team here. Every game we've had a chance to see so far has been one up front at the line. We're going to have to pay real close attention to offensive and defensive line play here tonight.
Be interested to see what type of pace Leavitt plays at here on the opening series. Albert's going to take it himself off the left side, and he's not going to gain anything. In fact, I think he's going to lose yardage to the 22, so that'll be a loss of 1. Nice play there by Jack Tower on the outside.
Tell you, swarming type of a defense that time by the Capers. There was not a whole lot of misdirection at all. They got a good push into the backfield. Leavitt's going to have to get off the ball a little bit quicker.
Just underway here. No score.
See how quick Coach Hathaway goes to the air.
Albert has Hudson right next to him in the backfield. He's going to hand it off to Hudson. He's going to find a little bit of running room up past the 25 and out to the 26-yard line. That'll be a gain of about 3, and that'll make it 3rd and 7. They got to get out past the 33-yard line for a first down.
A couple of spots there that Hudson had a choice from, but able to slip through there and pick up a couple of yards. That will stretch the defense a little bit. See that play again.
Albert in shotgun. Back to pass, looking out towards his left. Throws, and that is going to be complete, and that is going to be more than enough for the first down. That is Cam Jordan, and he's going to catch that at the 35-yard line. Did a little Vincent Brisby there. He caught it, bobbled it for a second, but he managed to haul it in before it hit the ground, Steve. Good pass play there and a first down for the Hornets.
Jordan, only a sophomore, really a nice route coming over the middle of the football field there. Good throw and catch, senior to sophomore. Saw a lot out of Jordan in pregame. I got to imagine he's going to be a popular target from the senior.
10-20 remaining in the first quarter, no score. Handoff, Hudson. He's going to wish he hadn't gotten that one. Actually, it's going to be Albert. Albert has the football. Inadvertent whistle. They blew the play dead. Albert kept it. He's into the end zone, but the play was blown dead.
Unreal.
Steve Flynn, 5 years to the day this happened twice to Ryan Godin up at Bangor for the Oxford Hills Vikings.
And they know they made a mistake.
5 years to the day, and they know they made a mistake.
They know they made a mistake.
Oof.
Yep.
What are the odds?
Unreal.
He had me fooled. They're going to redo first down. Give me a start here, Leavitt.
Well, you got to imagine that one might be a little long in the memory, depending on how this one ends up, Matty. Let's hope we're not talking about that one in the fourth quarter, okay?
Like I said, 5 years to the day this happened in
I believe somebody
Bangor.
rewatched that today.
Yeah, Ryan Godin himself, actually. Handoff up past the 35, up to the 36-yard line. Did not get the desired yardage. It'll be second and long. That was number 31 on the carry, Brad Morrow.
Yeah, I think still a little numbness there from the fact that that was such a well-designed play that Timmy Albert able to get all the way down the football field 30 yards before anyone knew he had the football, was running without anyone.
I would expect they flip the script on that later on.
Yeah.
And run that the other way. 9:15 remaining in the first quarter. Albert back to pass, 2nd and 9, throws. That's going to be complete. Up past the 50, broken tackle into Cape Elizabeth territory, down to the 48-yard line. Oren Shaw with a nice play there.
Shaw, one of the other slot receivers. We've seen Albert like those slot receivers, both Brown and Shaw. Shaw only a junior. Really developed well with this offense. Another kid that's come up through the system. The Hathaway system. It's a grassroots effort here in Turner.
8:50 remaining in the first quarter, no score. Albert, play fake, pass wide open. That's going to be complete. Out past the 30, broken tackle down the sidelines, inside the 20, cut back in. 10, 5, touchdown, 11 Hornets. Caleb Bowen, 47 yards. And just like that, that blown dead play doesn't quite matter.
Yeah, that comment I made, he likes the slot receiver. Bingo.
Steve Romo on the call, ladies and gentlemen.
8:36
remaining in the first quarter.
And I think what it's pretty obvious at this point is that Leavitt can have their way throwing the football against the Capers.
I think Leavitt will be able to have their way throwing the ball against a lot of folks as long as they are given the time to do so. Kick is down, kick is up, kick is good. That was Eli Lind on the kick. A mighty Lind, in fact. 7-0 Leavitt with the lead. It's the game of the week. We'll be right back.
Falmouth Orthopedic Center. Central Maine Orthopedics. OA Centers for Orthopedics. All playing on the same team. Maine's top orthopedic practices have joined forces for more efficient and affordable orthopedic care. Introducing Spectrum Orthopedics.
Welcome back to Leavitt High School. Leavitt leads Cape Elizabeth 7-0 here on the MBR Game of the Week from the Spectrum Healthcare Partners broadcast booth. If you're listening on the radio side of things, you're listening on Maine's Big Z 92.7 or on Sports Time 780 worldwide at sportstimemaine.com. Catch it on demand, catch it live, catch the video stream at mbr.org. Also subscribe to MBR Sport on YouTube. You can watch it there too. Leavitt with a 47-yard touchdown pass from Tim Albert to Caleb Bowen. 8:36 remaining in the first quarter. Albert had a touchdown that was blown dead when the officials did not realize that Albert still had the football. We'll get you scores on other games as well. Reminder, Thornton Academy at Oxford Hills tonight. That's on the Ox, 96-9, 14-50. Also, Cheverus and Lewiston. Cape has a little bit of a difficult time coming up with that one. Zach Stewart made that an adventure. He gets up to the 22-yard line, and he was lucky to get that far.
Yeah, had a little trouble fielding it there. Kind of went off his foot. But I'll tell you, Isaiah Calder able to get down the football field, wrap him up by the legs, and tackle him down. So Cape Elizabeth's first offensive effort. We had an opportunity to get here early, watch these guys come out, warm up. First guy on the football field was the junior Andrew Hartle. And a lot of throwing, Matty. I would expect Cape Elizabeth to not be shy about going to the air.
Glanville and Weir back there, moving around. Glanville actually moved off to the left. And they're going to hand that off. That will not be Glanville. That, in fact, will be Ware. He's going to get about 5, and it'll be 2nd and 5.
Where is your traditional fullback? He's going to stay in between your tackles, get your inside 3, 4, 5 yards in a cloud of dust. Glanville, they'll do a little bit more pitch toss, even some jet sweep with him, try to get him out on the edge in space a little bit more. All of that misdirecting from the fact that the play action is a very, very sneaky weapon here for the Capers.
Ryan Weir, a captain and a senior running back and a linebacker for the Capers. 7:56 remaining in the first quarter. 7-0 Leavitt with the lead over Cape Elizabeth. Hartle under center, and the flags fly, which is either going to be delay a game, and it will be, according to the old back judge there. Aaron Filio unenthused with his offense on that. York leads Lake Region 6-0 in the first quarter. Marshwood leads in their game 21-7. A lot of games already underway here tonight. Brunswick leads Lawrence 6-0.
Early scoring, too.
Lots of early scoring tonight. Week 6. The teams that got it have it.
Yeah, now is when you see it. It's obvious.
Cheverus and Lewiston got started late, 7:08, and they're just doing the coin toss. Back to pass, Hartle. Pass is complete. That's going to be out past the 30 and out of bounds. Pass is complete to number 30 for Cape Elizabeth, and that, number 13, Suleiman Shear, the senior. I made the mistake of looking at the name first, not the phonetic name.
See, yeah. Go phonetic first, if possible.
Suleiman Shear with a nice play there. Good run after the catch as well, Steve.
Well, caught the football immediately, did what we haven't seen a whole lot. Caught it first, then got up the
I was
field.
just about to say, the key point. Handoff, Weir, and he's going to go nowhere. Loss about 1. Back to the 35-yard line, 2nd and 11. Cowbells in full effect. Camo in full effect as well.
First dive that they ran offensively for the Capers really split open the defensive unit for Leavitt. I think they made an early correction right away to plug up that hole in the middle, and so far not much has happened over the center for Cape Elizabeth. Forcing them to the edge here. Whether or not they take it, we'll see.
7:05 remaining in the first quarter. Pitch is going to go to the outside, and that is going to be a big loss. Nice play there by Alan Peabody, and he took Glanville down way back inside the 30. They're going to mark him at the 29-yard line.
Another sophomore making a big play here in a varsity level. We saw Cameron Jordan on the tight end side offensively play a big role in keeping the offensive unit marching down the field. That time Peabody making a big play coming up from the backfield to stop Glanville. Just as we expected, trying to get out to the edge with their speedy rusher, forces Cape Elizabeth into a 3rd and long here.
Hartle under center. Weir behind him. They're going to hand it off to Weir. He's going to go off the left side, up past the 30, and out to the 33-yard line. That'll be a gain of 5. It'll make it 4th and 12, and Cape Elizabeth, after getting one first down, is going to have to punt, thanks to the Leavitt defense.
Think about the respect right there, Matty. I mean, you've got 3rd and long. You've got a kid that can throw the football. You have the personnel to do it, but choose not to. It says a lot about how you feel about your defensive unit, even after what you've seen from Tim Albert in this explosive Hornets offense.
Punt is away. It was a boomer, and that's going to land back at the 17-yard line. And that is going to be Bowen. He's already got 1 touchdown tonight. Why not another? 40, out past the 40 to the 45. Leavitt in beautiful field position with 5:30 remaining in the first quarter, already up 7-0.
So often during that punt return, it's key to make the first 1 or 2 guys miss. That becomes the critical point to freeing yourself up and really working it down the field.
That was Luke Houle with a tremendous punt. .5:30 remaining in the first quarter, 7-0. Leavitt with the lead in the football. Ball at the 46-yard line. Play action fake. Albert deep. Has a man wide open if he can get him, and he can't quite haul it in. Just a little overthrown for Calder. And now Calder has holding his knee. Looks like he landed a little awkwardly there, and he's going to limp off. Not good news for Leavitt. That's a 2-strike pitch right there.
Yeah, you don't want to overdo it here, but it looked like Bowen just kind of wanted to really give up for that ball. Way out in front of him. Looks like his right leg might have taken the worst of it. Shin, knee, maybe. We'll see. Getting checked out by David Enos. Great trainer here at Leavitt.
46-yard line. Clock stop. 5:24 remaining in the first quarter. Albert's going to keep it himself. He's not going to run off to nowhere this time, but he's still going to get some yardage up to the 49-yard line. Gain of 3, 3rd and 7.
That looked like read option right there, where he had the opportunity to hand that football off. He almost tucked it into the belly of Bryce Hudson and then took it back, went around the edge, picked up 4 yards. It's a smart decision by Albert.
3rd and 7 for the Hornets. It's game of the week.
Bowen back up and mobile on the sideline.
Albert, feet back at the 46, play action pass, looking, has a man, but the man was on the inside instead of the outside. Miscommunication, incomplete. Stops clock at 4:39 remaining in the first quarter, and it's 7-0 Leavitt. And they will have to punt to the Capers here in the first quarter.
A little bit of a miscommunication there. Not sure if the receiver ran the wrong route or Tim threw it the wrong way. But either way, ball thrown where no player was. So Leavitt will kick it away. Credit Cape Elizabeth there for making some adjustments defensively.
Punt is away, and then it's muffed. He's going to land on it back at the 11-yard line. That was Jacob Bridson. Had it go right through, but he did the smart thing. He didn't try to pick it up and be a hero. He just landed on it and moved on. 7-0, Leavitt with the lead. 4:32 remaining in the first quarter here on the game of the week. Hartle on the offense to the line. Horn receiver to the far side left. That handoff is going to go to Glanville. He is not going to gain much, if anything. It'll be 2nd and long. 4:20 remaining in the first quarter. 7-0 Hornets.
Really not a whole lot of time worked off of this clock. You've seen a couple of incomplete passes have stopped that clock. So churning away. Second offensive effort here for the Capers. We'll see if they can mix up something. A penalty cost them last time, really put them back, and a key tackle for a loss. So they're trying to gain some offensive traction here against what's been a very stingy athletic defense for the Hornets. Physically, it looks like the Capers have the advantage. Speed-wise, I think that goes to the Hornets.
Hartle under center. Cape Elizabeth's going to take a timeout. We'll take a timeout as well. You're listening to the game of the week from the Spectrum Healthcare Partners broadcast booth on MBR.org, YouTube, subscribe to MBR Sport, and on the radio. It's the CMCC Hammond Lumber Game of the Week on Maine's Big Z 927 Sports Time 780. We'll be right back.
Falmouth Orthopedic Center. Central Maine Orthopedics. OA Centers for Orthopedics. All playing on the same team. Maine's top orthopedic practices have joined forces for more efficient and affordable orthopedic care. Introducing Spectrum Orthopedics.
Welcome back to the Spectrum Healthcare Partners broadcast booth. Matt Boutwell, Steve Flynn, Tyler Farnham up in the booth, Johnny Mailer down on the sidelines, providing you with the Spectrum Spotlight that you can find later on MBR Radio's Twitter page. You can watch this game on YouTube live now. Just subscribe to MBR Sport and you get notified whenever we go live. You can watch a replay later as well. 7-0, Leavitt with the lead. On the radio side of things, you're listening on Sports Time 780 or on Maine's Big Z 92.7. It's the CMCC Hammond Lumber Game of the Week. Hartle under center for Cape Elizabeth. 2nd and 7, 3:47 remaining in the first quarter. Weir is going to run it off the left side, break a couple of tackles out past the 20, over to the 22-yard line. Looks like they'll mark him at the 23. Be a gain of 3, and it'll be 3rd and 4. Clock running. 3:34 remaining in the first quarter.
Interesting to see the fullback pop outside the tackle box that time, getting bumped out to the left-hand side. That's a credit to the push that Leavitt got up the middle of the field. Linebackers are getting in behind that D-line and really jamming some of the gaps through the middle.
3:16 remaining in the first quarter. Hartle to the line. Bridson off to the left. Hartle back to pass. Has a man just over the outstretched arms of Matt Conley at the 49-yard line. Incomplete. 4th and 4. Stops the clock. 3:01 remaining in the first quarter. And Cape Elizabeth 2 for 2 here on drives ending with a punt.
Tipped their hand with something there, too. I didn't see more than 2 guys going out for a punt that time, Matty. Out for a reception that time, passing route. So in that case, you've got an idea where the kid is just making a single read, looking for that go route down the side.
Kick is away. Bowen's just going to let that one ride, and it's going to drop at the 35-yard line. That is where the Leavitt Hornets will take over, up 7-0, 2:51 remaining in the first quarter. Hoping to have Dr. Tom Murray from OA Centers for Orthopedics on at halftime. Also, maybe see if we can get Will Cramlick from the Sun Journal on as well. We'll see. We'll see what we can do. I feel like we've got time on these halftimes, Steve.
I think he's around.
Yeah, I can see him. He's right there.
There he is.
Yeah. Will's lost weight, too. He's got that skinny thing going. Albert in the shotgun. 2:51 remaining in the first quarter. Leavitt football, 1st and 10. And Albert's going to keep it himself up the middle. That was a real good read option. Out past the 40 to the 43-yard line. Put it in the gut of his running back and then took it right back.
Yeah, you tell you what, he sells that fake as good as anyone I've seen sell it in high school football. He buries it in the belly and kind of lets him take 1-2 steps with it. The defense is biting on that, and he is not afraid to pull it back and take it himself. Seen it a couple of times now. Of course, we saw one get blown dead that he ran like 65 yards for a touchdown, but whatever. You go back and watch that.
Later on the replay. 2:15 remaining in the quarter. That will be a handoff, break a couple of tackles, up past the 45 to the 46-yard line. And that was number 31, Brad Morrow. Junior tailback with some hard yardage there.
Yeah, Moreau that time kind of dicing through the line side by side. Really good shifting movement. Keeping Cape Elizabeth back on their heels.
Big drive here for the Hornets. This one will put them up 2 scores, and it would give them a pretty solid time of possession advantage as well, which for a quick strike team like Leavitt sometimes is important.
A two-score advantage in high school is huge.
That will be a handoff to Bowen. He's going to cut up the middle. Be stopped just shy of the 50-yard line, about the 49.5. That'll be a gain of 2, and it'll be 2nd and 8. Approaching a minute and a half remaining in the first quarter.
1, maybe 2 blocks shy of breaking that one free for a long, long run. Bowen had a couple of spots there, just good penetration from the secondary. It was number 15 that got up into the play, Jacob Budichewski.
Again, shout out to the phonetic crossers.
Yeah, because that one wouldn't have sounded the same.
No, not even close. Albert all alone in the shotgun. And now I get delayed game.
Yep.
Looks about right.
No play change. Coach Hathaway feels confident with what he called.
Regardless of whether it's 5 yards but further back or not.
Same formation. Let's roll.
Make him stop it. Albert back in shotgun. 3 receivers to the far side right. They're going to put Bowen in motion. Albert's going to run it himself up the middle.
Boy.
Gets the back almost the original line of scrimmage up to the 48-yard line. And it's going to be 3rd and 8.
Tell you, it was Weir that came in on the tackle that time, tried to get his pad level nice and low, but Albert absolutely laid the boom. Tell you what, carried all the energy from that rush. Delivered a good hit forward. Might not have gained much, but delivered a message.
Albert in the shotgun. Back to pass. Looking, throws, has a man. That's caught at the 30, 25, and down to the 22-yard line. Cam Jordan wide open. Hornets back in business with 16 seconds remaining in the first quarter.
Secondary for Cape Elizabeth is not staying with the receivers down the football field. They're not. They're just not able to stay with them. And if these routes are going more than 10, 12 yards, Albert's able to drop the ball in behind that secondary. I think that'll be the last play of the first quarter, Matty.
It absolutely will, by the looks of things here, unless Coach Hathaway calls timeout, which I don't think he will. End of 1 quarter of play, 7-0 Leavitt over Cape Elizabeth. We'll be right back on the Game of the Week.
All aboard MBR.org, the place to get all your high school and amateur sports news and information. MBR.org is in high gear with Maine high school winter sports. Go to MBR.org to chat about your favorite team. Find the latest articles, travel news, and cancellations. Or visit their all-new and very popular team pages. MBR.org has everything you want to know about high school and amateur sports in Maine. Coming in February, all the high school tournament action at your fingertips 24/7. It's high school sports heaven. All aboard MBR.org.
Our goal here at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to raise your program or group the most amount of money possible in the shortest amount of time, hassle-free.
Over the last 3 years, we've been able to raise over $10,000 every year, which has really allowed us to get the extra stuff the kids really need to run a successful program.
One of our biggest goals at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to really develop a relationship on the ground with the coaches, the community, and the boosters that are involved, and help bring them together and understand how important it is to fundraise.
Welcome back. Start of the second quarter. MBR Game of the Week from the Spectrum Healthcare Partners broadcast booth on a Friday night. Beautiful evening for some football. Undefeated Leavitt hosting once defeated Cape Elizabeth. Capers coming off a 61-6 win over Great New Gloucester last week. They will be taking on Freiburg next week. Tough stretch for Cape Elizabeth.
False start
on Leavitt, and that'll back them up 5 yards. So instead of 1st and 10, it'll be 1st and 15.
Those are the kind of mental mistakes that you can't have when you're trying to work down the field, driving the football. Looked like a player, offensive lineman might have stepped his foot out. Mr. Norton was signifying. Somebody was doing the hokey pokey anyway.
Turning themselves about. That's what it's all about. Albert in the shotgun. Sends a man in motion. And he will hand it off to said man. And said man's going to wish he didn't do that. Damian Calder's going to get ripped down back at the 28-yard line. That'll be a loss of 2. And it'll be 2nd and 17. And Leavitt moving backwards. And I guess not great timing after that big pass play because it seemed to slow things down a little bit. This offense moving backwards now.
Yeah, right about the time we thought they were finding their rhythm, seemed to have hitched up a little bit. So looks like Coach Hathaway switching up personnel just a little bit. Sending in another sophomore, Hayden Varney, at a tight end spot.
End of the first quarter, Brunswick leads Lawrence 12-6. End of the first quarter, Chevrolet leads Lewiston 7-0. Max Coffin is playing for Chevrolet. Albert back to pass. Jordan can't find it, incomplete. Also avoided a big-time shot from Glanville there. Lived to see another day, 11:09 remaining in the first half. And it'll be 3rd and long for Leavitt.
Yeah, I think you had him open over the middle of the football field, but I'll tell you, would have left him quite exposed. Glanville would have had easy lickings on him. Hudson off the field needs a little bit of attention from the trainer.
$11:09 remaining in the first half, 7-0. Leavitt with a lead. Albert with a great play action fake. Outside is incomplete. Caleb Bowen tried to run before he caught it. And, Steve, we know how that movie ends.
Cannot do that.
We know how that movie ends. And it's usually not in a positive way.
Negative.
So it'll be 4th and long here, and Leavitt's going to have to
make
a decision.
Timeout Leavitt.
Timeout
Leavitt.
11:03 remaining in the first quarter. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back here on the Game of the Week.
Falmouth Orthopedic Center. Central Maine Orthopedics. OA Centers for Orthopedics. All playing on the same team. Maine's top orthopedic practices have joined forces for more efficient and affordable orthopedic care. Introducing Spectrum Orthopedics.
Welcome back. Quarter number 2 of the MBR Game of the Week, 7-0. Leavitt with a lead over Cape Elizabeth. 4th and 19 for the Hornets. They have the ball at the Cape Elizabeth 29-yard line. Coming out of a timeout here. How are things on the timeout tracker right now? One apiece?
One apiece.
We got to get the timeout tracker sponsored,
yeah.
I feel.
Someone would want their name all over that.
You'd think so. Albert back to pass. Fakes out to the left. Now looks out to the right. He's going to have to throw off his back foot, and that's going to be incomplete. That was intended for number 87, Hayden Varney. And that will wrap that drive up for the Hornets, which I think got short-circuited by having to switch fields after the big pass play to Jordan.
Coach Filio pining for a hold call out there, trying to emulate how he saw his lineman getting taken down anyway. Luke Houle that time into the backfield, delivering a pretty good hit on Tim Albert, making him pay for throwing that football anyway. I'll turn it over to Downs, and Hartle will line up the Capers offense and head from right to left on your radio dial for the first time tonight.
Hartle under center, barking out orders. 2 running backs behind him. He's going to drop back to pass. Has a man. He is open. That's going to be complete up to the 50-yard line. Nice catch there by Matt Conley, who got open in the middle of the field towards the left hash mark. And 10:50 remaining in the first half. Cape Elizabeth has a first down at midfield.
Crossing route for Conley that time, just coming across the middle of the football field, and Hartle delivered a nice pass, kind of came up on his toes. Very catchable ball out in front, gave him room to get out, gain some more yards.
Hartle at midfield. Hands it off. Weir up to the 47-yard line. Gain of 3, 2nd and 7. 10:20 remaining in the first half.
Again, defensively up front. Big guys up front. Parmenters, looks like 52 up there as well. Bryce Luce. I'll tell you, these guys are controlling the middle of the football field, forcing the pass out of Cape Elizabeth.
10:01, under 10 minutes remaining now, and the clock ticking. Hartle changes the play at the line. Back to pass, looking out towards his left, has a man, almost caught, but incomplete. Matt Laughlin almost came down with it. Could not find the handle, incomplete. 3rd and 7, stops the clock, 9:47 remaining in the first half.
I'm just surprised we didn't see this more. I thought Hartle felt comfortable throwing the football. It looks like he's got some receivers that can go up and get it. Laughlin being one of them. And I can't imagine that's going to be the last time we see them go to the edge. It looks like he prefers to throw to his left-hand side. See if Leavitt can use that to their advantage.
9:47 remaining in the first half, 7-0 Leavitt. Cape Elizabeth with the football, 3rd and 7 at the Leavitt 47-yard line. Hartle in shotgun, rolls out to his left, throws back across his body, has a man wide open. That is going to be caught into the end zone. Touchdown, Cape Elizabeth. Jack Glanville, 47-yard reception, and the Capers make it 7-6 with 9:37 remaining in the first half.
Yeah, quick rollout pass to his left-hand side, looking back over the field. And it was Deshaun Calder, just lost a step on Glanville as he got behind him. Hartle threw the ball out in front. Beautiful throw and catch that time. Junior to senior.
7-6, Leavitt with the lead over Cape Elizabeth. Morin into kick. Snap down, kick up. Kick is good. We're tied at 7. We'll be right back on the game of the week.
Our goal here at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to raise your program or group the most amount of money possible in the shortest amount of time, hassle-free.
Over the last 3 years, we've been able to raise over $10,000 every year, which has really allowed us to get the extra stuff the kids really need to run a successful program.
One of our biggest goals at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to really develop a relationship on the ground with the coaches, the community, and the boosters that are involved, and help bring them together and understand how important it is to fundraise.
9:37 remaining in the first half. We were tied at 7 on the game of the week. From the Spectrum Healthcare Partners broadcast booth, Matt Boutwell, Steve Flynn with you here. I want to thank all the folks here at Leavitt Area High School that helped set us up for the broadcast this week, including Athletic Director Ryan LaRoche, who is on vacation this week but still made sure we're taking care of. Also, Derek Falvey, the assistant principal. Thank you, guys. Appreciate that.
He's on the vacation that every parent wants to be on.
Yes.
Vacation with your child.
Correct. Because you, at this point, have bought yourself at least a year of being a hero.
Enjoy. Stay on the resort. Okay.
Cape Elizabeth ties it up after a big pass play. Leavitt gets it back out past the 35-yard line, and that will be Calder, the sophomore, who sets up Leavitt with a 1st and 10 at their own 35-yard line on the far side, hash mark 9:30 remaining in the first half.
I think Leavitt's got something to prove here. Not real comfortable with how they ended their last offensive set. Had a couple of things working for them real well in the first quarter. Seemed like they were going to have their way with the Capers. I think the adjustments that have been made by Coach Filio in that defensive unit have caused them a little bit of stifle. We'll see what Coach Hathaway dials up here. 9:30 to go in the first half.
Not a lot of seats available here. That's going to be a handoff to Bowen on a sweep. He's going to break through. He's going to do well not to lose too much yardage, but he's going to lose 1 back to the 34-yard line. Actually, probably lose about a half a yard, make it 2nd and long.
Jack Tower, again, from the linebacker position, just flying into the backfield. And it seems like one of the things that this Cape Elizabeth team does well is if one guy gets into the backfield, makes contact, 2-3 guys follow him up right away.
9:01, under 9 minutes now. Clock ticking, first half tied at 7. Second and 10 for the Hornets. Albert in the shotgun. Sends a man in motion. That'll be Jordan. We'll go behind him. A little misdirection there. They get to Bowen on the left-hand side. And once again, he gets strung out, and he tries to cut it back, and he's going to lose yardage, loss of 2. And all of a sudden, Leavitt not finding a lot of running space when they're going east to west.
Yeah, it's lengthening the field, the width of the field that way hasn't been as beneficial for them as much as going vertically. They've done much better getting the ball down the football field to both Jordan and Bowen. See whether or not Albert looks to go behind the secondary here.
8 minutes remaining in the first half. Tied at 7, Leavitt and Cape Elizabeth. Albert in shotgun, back to pass, has a man, he's open, that's going to be complete to Bowen, out past the 45, out to the 49-yard line, more than enough for a first down where Chris Bessie's foot has been marked.
Well, I'll tell you what, that was very well thrown football. The only guy that was going to catch that was that slot receiver. Caleb Bowen, and he sure enough got his fingertips on it, able to haul it in, get a couple yards past that first down marker, and get a chance to get off the field, get a drink of water. Bowen been very active tonight on special teams and on the offensive side.
Stops the clock with 7:48 remaining in the first half. Albert in the shotgun, back at the 45-yard line. Handoff, and that'll get some positive yardage into Cape Elizabeth territory to the 49-yard line. That'll be Bryce Hudson on the run.
I'll tell you, this linebacker core, Budichewski, Glanville, Jack Tower, an impressive, very aggressive unit for the Capers. These guys come up and make some big plays. They want to hit and hit hard.
Michael Hoffer said in the pregame show that this is a very tough defense, and if you can get on them early, you want to get away from them early, because if not, they'll stay on top of you. Right now, Leavitt not in as high scoring of an affair as it would prefer. Clock ticking in the first half. Mike Hathaway is going to take a timeout. We will take one as well. You're listening to the Game of the Week. We'll be right back.
Falmouth Orthopedic Center. Central Maine Orthopedics. OA Centers for Orthopedics. All play on the same team. Maine's top orthopedic practices have joined forces for more efficient and affordable orthopedic care. Introducing Spectrum Orthopedics.
Welcome back. Cape Leavitt tied at 7:12 remaining in the first half. Here on the Game of the Week. Leavitt with the football at the Cape Elizabeth 49-yard line. It is 2nd and 8. And a one-quarter play. Chevrolet leads Lewiston 7-0. That's over on 105.5 AM 1240.
Wow. At Donru Field? No, at Garcelon.
At Garcelon.
No more Donru Field.
No.
Is bye-bye.
Edward Little leads Deering 14-0 after a Caden Bigos touchdown run. Albert back to pass, has a man, and it is caught and dropped. Incomplete.
I think they're gonna say he caught it.
I think they're gonna call it an incompletion.
No. Right there.
No,
complete
they
pass.
call it a complete pass. Wow.
I
Warren
thought
Shaw came down with it. Aaron Filio is apoplectic.
Oh, they're gonna get
Jerry Norton talking about it now.
No, Bessie feels confident. Yeah. Look, it looked to me like he got both hands on the football, landed with it, then lost it after. It looked like a catch to me.
This isn't like the NFL. I guess you don't have to carry it the whole way through. Handoff, and that will be Hudson. He's going to get up to the 15 and keep powering down to the 13-yard line. Gain of 15.
Now the pace is going to pick up for the Hornets. Hathaway senses that.
6:50 and the clock ticking here in the first half. They'll stop the clock while they move the chains here. 7-7, Cape Elizabeth and Leavitt. If you're listening on the radio, you're on Sports Time 780 or on Maine's Big Z 92.7. Video stream, MBR.org. Just subscribe to MBR Sport on YouTube. Albert fakes a handoff. He follows his blocker, shimmies down to the 10-yard line. Gain of 3, 2nd and 7. 6:30 and the clock ticking here for Leavitt, tied at 7 with Cape.
Yeah, most of their success has been between the tackles on this drive. Getting good push up the middle. Cole Melanson from the center position. He's been on the tackle side defensively, but playing center for the offensive unit. Really doing a nice job controlling the middle of that offensive line.
Albert back at the 15-yard line in shotgun. He's got Hudson next to him. Bowen, far side left. Jordan in the slot. Looking to Bowen. He's wide open. Catches it at the 5. Cuts back. He's going to wish he didn't. He's going to end up losing yardage back to the 8. He falls forward. He's at the 5, and it's 3rd and short. Now it's going to be 3rd and 4. Maybe took a left at Albuquerque when he should have took a right there,
Yeah,
Steve.
it seems like that's exactly what it was. Well, was taking a right. Then Jack Tower grabbed his jersey, made him take a left.
Right.
Spun him right around.
Sometimes that decision is not up to you.
No, hey, use the field. We heard Coach Haley, Coach Wing talk a lot last week about what do you do in close to the end zone. The issue is that you are field challenged in terms of how much depth you have. Right now, you've got an opportunity to use a little bit more field. It opens up the pass opportunities quite a bit more.
I'll have a scoring update from Deering and Edward Little in just a second. Right now, it's 3rd and 5. Albert is going to keep it himself, fakes a handoff, and he's going to get tracked down to the 2-yard line. That was a very good defensive play there to save the touchdown by number 55, Louis Dawkins, the junior linebacker.
Tell you, Dawkins got into the backfield, had his arms on the back of Albert, kind of chased him down the line. If not for him, that'd have gone in for a touchdown for sure.
7-7. Cape Elizabeth and Leavitt. Leavitt looking to make it a little bit of a different score here. 4th and short. 4th and very short with 4:30 remaining here in the first half. 1 timeout remaining for the Hornets. Albert in shotgun, Hudson next to him. Albert back to pass, has a man, incomplete. Jordan looking for a pass interference penalty and is not going to get it. 4:19 remaining, and Cape Elizabeth will take over with the ball on their own 7-yard line. Interesting.
Well, you know, a couple of thoughts on that. You pin them deep in their own territory, right? So now you put a little bit more pressure on them. But you got to remember, this offensive unit for the Capers seem to have found something that works. So got to be very, very careful here. You got 4:12 left. Well, the clock was moving, so not sure how that happened. At any rate, there's 4:13 left now.
Somebody might have a,
Cape Elizabeth will get the ball to start the second half.
Food places don't stay open all night, Steve.
True.
Handoff up the middle to Glanville. Up past the 10 to the 11-yard line. Gain of 3, 2nd and 7. Glanville, Bacchus tying his shoe there. That's a quick that's a quick shoe tie there by Dacus.
Wow, I tell you, they don't seem to be moving with any sort of sense of urgency, right? They feel pretty confident, even down 7 points in that first quarter, moving very deliberately. They feel confident.
Well, they'll get the ball to start the second half. Pass to the outside is incomplete. It was intended for Shear, who made a great catch earlier, but he was not going to be able to get up high enough to catch that one. That stops the clock with 3:29 remaining in the first half. Tied at 7, and this is a big-time third down for Cape Elizabeth, because if they don't convert this, Leavitt's going to get the ball back with plenty of time.
Not something that you ask a high school quarterback to make a whole lot of progressive reads, 3-4 read offensive sets, but you would like him to be able to look off a safety, maybe make 1 or 2 reads. Hartle really keying on his receiver right from the rip. As soon as he gets the ball, you got a good idea where he's going.
Drew Tillman with a 64-yard kickoff return for Deering. Kick failed. They trail it with a little 14-6 in that one. Hartle back to pass, rolls out to his right, has a man, throws it deep off the back foot, and that is caught at the 45-yard line. What an unbelievable catch by Jacob Bridson, the senior, on the sidelines. What a throw, what a catch. First down, Capers.
Saw it with a couple of throws on their last offensive set. We saw him throw up the ball to Laughlin, that time going all the way up there to Bridson. And here's the thing, Matty. They look back for the football. They know the ball is going to be up in the air. They're actively looking back and going back to catch it, not waiting for the ball to get to them, going up and getting it.
And a roughing the passer as well. So tack 15 yards onto that one. So instead of being at the Cape Elizabeth 45-yard line, Cape will now move to the Leavitt 40-yard line with 3:20 run remaining in the first half, tied at 7. They've come all the way from the 8-yard line.
Yeah, you're just giving them help at that point. I mean, you're already dealing with enough that you're trying to overcome. You don't want to give them additional help. Just can't afford it.
Lake Region York tied at 6. Lake Region a surprise team this year. They had a big game with Morse next week. Moon looking bright.
Boy, isn't it, Matty?
Up past the ball field, the field hockey field. 3:21 remaining in the first half. Weir keeps his footing up to the 35-yard line. Gain of 6, 2nd and 4. Riley Weir with a big-time run there for the Capers.
Yeah, powerful runner. He's a guy that's not going to be easy to bring down after just 1 or 2 yards. He's a guy that carries a bunch of downhill speed with him. It's going to take 2 or 3 Hornets to bring him down.
Hartle under center. Handoff to Weir, the up back. He's going to break it to the outside, and he's going to get up to the 31-yard line, which is where I'll be taken down. Gain of 4. And we'll see if that is enough for a first down with 2:29 remaining in the first half.
I think it's going to be about half a yard shy, Matty. Just shy.
Think they're going to bring out the chains? They're going to bring out the chains. Mind you, get Dirigo and Orono on 100.7 The Ox. Chevers and Lewiston on 105.5 AM 1240. And you also have Oxford Hills Authority Academy on 96.9 AM 1450. If you're looking for any of those games, you can find them all at MBR.org. You can channel flip, go right back. Or if you have multiple devices, i.e. Kindles, tablets, things of that nature, flip them out, 4th and short. You're right, Steve, about a half yard shy.
Yeah, just barely shy.
3rd and short. 3rd and short. I wanted to put a little too much pressure on him there with the 4th half. 2:22 remaining in the first half. Jerry Norton calls for the clock to be started. And it will be under 2:20 remaining in the first half. Leavitt making subs on defense. Trey Boobier back in the ball game. Hartle under center, 3rd and short. Play action pass. Has a man, throws it into the end zone. That is going to be caught inside the 5 and down to the 1-yard line. Nice catch again by Matt Conley. Another good throw by Hartle, and Cape Elizabeth in business inside the 5, a minute 57 remaining in the first half.
I kept my eyes square right on the shoulders of Hartle. He came out. That was where he was going the whole time. He was waiting until he got behind that secondary, dropped the pass in, led him perfectly. I'll tell you, he's got some. Leavitt's going to have to play off the ball a lot more and keep those plays in front of them to prevent any big ones from breaking.
Little pitch to the outside, and that's going to be a fumble, and Leavitt has it at the 5-yard line. It was a backwards pass. They passed it over to number 33, Jack Landville. He ran with it for a minute and dropped the ball back at the 5-yard line. Leavitt falls on it. Officials are talking about it. And Cape Elizabeth might have just fumbled away a golden opportunity with a minute 44 remaining in the first half.
Almost looked like it was a chest pass, Matty, like he kind of shoved it out.
Oh, now they're going to call
pass.
it incomplete.
Wow. Look, by my accord, Matty, that's at the minimal a lateral. That's at minimal a lateral.
That's what it'll look like from here. So, we'll see. I don't know. There's other cameras here, too. We refuse to be the – we can't be the only ones here. They'll check upstairs. Minute 44 remaining. Cape Elizabeth hangs on to the football. Got to imagine they might be a little more conservative here on offense.
Yep.
With this play call. Not sure why the clock's not running. Handoff. Weir into the end zone. Touchdown, Capers. Might have gotten a little break there if you love it because the clock should have started running after they realized, actually, no, it was an incomplete pass. Never mind. Stop the clock. We're fine. 13-7 Cape Elizabeth. That was a big-time drive there by Cape. 92 yards in less than 2 minutes.
And don't underestimate the emotional sort of tide turn there where Leavitt thinks they got the ball back. No, never mind. It's an incomplete pass. Oh, now you get scored on. So it went from, we got the ball back. We got a chance to maybe do something here to now we're down 2 scores. And, hey, Cape Elizabeth's going to get the ball to start.
Snap down, kick up. Kick is good. Cape Elizabeth 14, Leavitt 7, a minute 40 remaining in the first half. We'll be right back on the Game of the Week.
All aboard MBR.org, the place to get all your high school and amateur sports news and information. MBR.org is in high gear with Maine high school winter sports. Go to MBR.org to chat about your favorite team. Find the latest articles, travel news, and cancellations. Or visit their all-new and very popular team pages. MBR.org has everything you want to know about high school and amateur sports in Maine. Coming in February, all the high school tournament action at your fingertips 24/7. It's high school sports heaven. All aboard MBR.org.
Welcome back. Minute 40 remaining in the first half. Cape Elizabeth leading Leavitt and keeping the hometown crowd kind of quiet here. 14-7 on the Game of the Week from the Spectrum Healthcare Partners broadcast booth. video stream, find it, MBR Sport on YouTube, or just find all the ways to listen and watch at MBR.org. If you're listening on the radio, it's the CMCC Hammond Lumber Game of the Week on Maine's Big Z 92.7 and Sports Time 780. Cape Elizabeth will kick it off after a 2-yard touchdown run by Ryan Weir. Put the Capers up. Controversial play call there on the play beforehand. Kick to the up back, and that's going to be fielded back at the 30. Good chance for field position here, and that is going to be a nice little run back for Leavitt up to the 43-yard line. That was Alan Peabody. Tailback and up back in that situation, making a nice play. Usually you don't want your up back returning it, but in that case, good job by Mr. Peabody.
Knew what to do with it. I mean, he got to start getting up the field. We've seen a couple of guys in that same position kind of shuffle their feet, move around, not go very far. A couple of scoring updates, tied at 6. Spruce and Lisbon. Inside a minute to go in the first half. 14-0 at the end of the half. Thornton over Oxford Hills. Thornton will get the ball to start the second half.
Back to pass, Albert looking, has a man complete. It's Bowen. He gets up the sidelines. Into Cape Elizabeth territory, out at the 39-yard line. That'll stop the clock with 1:24 remaining in the first half. Big-time possession here for Leavitt that they've got to finish off because they might not see the ball again for quite a while.
Is that big 73-point victory that we saw this same Leavitt football team had? It proved one thing. They can score score quickly and get big chunks of yards in just a couple of plays. They have big play potential all over this field.
Albert, Leavitt Hornets offense, strides to the line. Not hurrying too much. Play action pass. Too high for Bowen, incomplete. And then you're going to have a roughing the passer penalty there. And that is going to be a 15-yarder, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a personal foul. They're going to call.
That'll be on Cape. Like Albert got roughed up.
So now you're just bringing them closer. Tell you, we saw Leavitt help out Cape Elizabeth with a personal foul. Same idea, right? So you do one me, I'll do one you. Okay.
Turnabout, fair play.
That's what we're all about, fair play, man.
Karma's going to get you all the other different things.
What's good for the goose is good for the gander?
Yes, I believe that one. I think that tops it off, actually.
Okay.
I think that one stuffs it, actually, I believe. Minute 20 remaining in the first half. 14-7, Leavitt with a lead. Albert. Intercepted. It was intended for Bowen.
Tower.
And Tower was waiting for it.
Boy.
Minute 12 remaining in the first half, and Cape has the football.
And just not what you want to see.
No,
Cape Elizabeth's
it's not what you want.
Got a couple of timeouts left. Again, they've seen something that they've been able to attack. So right now, right away, your first message is to your secondary guys. Keep the receiver in front of you. Stay between your receiver and the end zone. Please.
Leavitt. So a couple of opportunities go by the wayside here. Long drive that stalled. Actually, a couple long drives that stalled. And now an interception. And Cape gets the ball start the second half. Still plenty of time left in this drive. And Cape has shown that they can move the ball in large amounts quickly. Hartle back to pass. Throws. Has a man. Incomplete. Out to the 35-yard line. Good coverage there by Deshaun Calder.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I think he's doing. This is what I think he's doing. I think he's at the line of scrimmage looking at what the best physical matchup is, head-to-head, and then that's where he's going with the ball. Glanville had clear away the physical advantage over Cauldron that time. We'll see. We'll see if he sticks with it.
Minute 7 remaining in the first half. 14-7. Cape Elizabeth with the lead and the football. Cape team doctor, Dr. Tom Murray, is scheduled to join us at halftime. Jordan getting into the backfield. Hartle off the back foot. Almost caught incomplete. Glanville and Calder had to come back for it. And Glanville could not hang on to it. Had a chance there for a big gainer up to the 45.
I question a lot of this play calling. I mean, you had the ball. They've only taken 11 seconds off the clock here. They're playing with a single touchdown lead and the ability to get the ball back here in the second half. They're perfectly comfortable turning this ball back over to the Hornets. It would appear anyway, Matty. 3rd and long here, choosing to be in this situation. A couple of runs and we'll be headed into halftime. Delay a game.
And that'll move them back 5 yards. Minute 1 remaining in the first half. Cape now moves back to the 20-yard line. Still 1 timeout for Leavitt, correct?
Yes.
According to the timeout tracker.
Yep.
Hartle under center. Handoff goes to Weir. Isn't going to gain much. He's going to get stopped back at the 23-yard line. They'll make it 4th down. Stops the clock with 56 seconds remaining. Leavitt will take their final timeout here to get this ball back.
Things get a little chippy inside.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, little few words exchanged after that.
Little sauce
play,
between the players there.
Okay.
Little sauce. We'll get you updated on scores at the half.
I didn't see who took the timeout. I don't believe they let us know. I don't think this is a water break that they haven't informed us of.
That was a Leavitt timeout. 4th and 14, so that'll be Leavitt's final timeout.
Brunswick at the half, 20-13 over Lawrence.
Brunswick's not having the year they've had.
Freeport at 14. Winthrop Monmouth 12, Poland 0 at the half.
Coney up on Hampden Academy 40-0 with 9:52 left in the first half there. Cattabank leads in their game 17-0. Messalonski leads 21-12 over Brewer. All sorts of games tonight. Kick is away, muffed. And Bowen will land on it back at the 43-yard line. That was good coverage there by number 10, Garrett Mello. 47 seconds remaining in the first half. No timeouts remaining for Leavitt. They're down 7. Cape Elizabeth will get the ball to start the second half.
You've got to be careful here. You've got to have all 11 guys singing from the same sheet of music right now. You've got to know what's expected of you and how to manage the clock. It'd be really important if you could get in, put some points on the board, and pull this game in closer before the second half.
Got a flag down.
Illegal.
That's
going to be in the back.
On the defense. And another one on the defense. Here, Filio would like an explanation. And we'll see what that does here for the Leavitt field position. Assume that's going to move them 10 yards from the spot of the foul. So instead of the 43, they will be at the 48-yard line. Apparently it's only a 5-yard penalty.
Okay.
All right.
We'll just tell you where they put the ball.
That's what we're going to do at this point. That's all we can do, really.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Talk about what we see.
Officials ready to snap it. 3 receivers out to the far side left, 1 to the near side right. The one to the near side right is Stephen Gray. Can't miss Stephen Gray. Hudson in the backfield with Albert. Albert back to pass. Has time, throws, and that is going to be incomplete. Could have been another interception there for Bridson, but he wasn't able to haul it in back at the 11-yard line. Stops the clock with 40 seconds remaining in the first half. It's 2nd and 10 Hornets.
Not sure if Albert hit his hand on a helmet there or followed
just
through
got
on a
hit
yeah.
just a hair before he let it go.
A couple of guys pinched in on him there as he was getting rid of that football. Still 40 seconds to go here, Matty. That's a lot of time. Keep in mind, Cape Elizabeth is not without. They still have their timeout, a couple of timeouts.
Back to pass, Albert. Screen pass, well diagnosed if they've got the blocking. First down, out past the 38-yard line. Alan Peabody with a nice run there. And it's going to be just shy of a first down. Stops the clock at 34 seconds remaining in the first half.
Peabody got set up with some nice blocking in front of him, able to get down the football field. It was Zach Stewart drawing in on him, knocking him out.
We'll get you updated on some scores from around the state at the half. Dr. Tom Murray, the Cape Elizabeth team doctor, will join us as well. Scheduled to join us. Albert back to pass, looking, throws, intercepted again. Intended for Bowen, it ended up being overthrown. And Bridson got a chance and redeemed himself. 29 seconds remaining in the first half. 14-7 Cape, and they get the football again. We'll see what they do with it here. You said they still got all 3 timeouts? Or
two timeouts.
2 timeouts left. That's an eternity.
Wow, I'll tell you, there's a lot of time left. These guys can get down the football field. They able to kick field goals as well. See whether or not they are going to come out in a set. No victory formation. No knee taking here.
This game could use some more cowbell. If you're a Leavitt fan, you'd like that to be a celebratory cowbell.
Take a knee.
Cape's going to take a knee. They didn't do it at the anthem. They did it before the half. 14-7, Cape with the lead. We'll take a break. We'll come back with halftime action here on the Game of the Week from the Spectrum Healthcare Partners broadcast booth. If you're listening on the radio, it's the CMCC Hammond Lumber Game of the Week on Maine's Big Z927 and Sports 780. Video stream can be found at MBR.org. We'll be right back.
Falmouth Orthopedic Center. Central Maine Orthopedics. OA Centers for Orthopedics. All playing on the same team. Maine's top orthopedic practices have joined forces for more efficient and affordable orthopedic care. Introducing Spectrum Orthopedics.
Our goal here at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to raise your program or group the most amount of money possible in the shortest amount of time, hassle-free.
Over the last 3 years, we've been able to raise over $10,000 every year, which has really allowed us to get the extra stuff the kids really need to run a successful program.
One of our biggest goals at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to really develop a relationship on the ground with the coaches, the community, and the boosters that are involved, and help bring them together and understand how important it is to fundraise.
All aboard MBR.org, the place to get all your high school and amateur sports news and information. MBR.org is in high gear with Maine high school winter sports. Go to MBR.org to chat about your favorite team. Find the latest articles, travel news, and cancellations. Or visit their all-new and very popular team pages. MBR.org has everything you want to know about high school and amateur sports in Maine. Coming in February, all the high school tournament action at your fingertips 24/7. It's high school sports heaven. All aboard MBR.org.
Falmouth Orthopedic Center. Central Maine Orthopedics. OA Centers for Orthopedics. All playing on the same team. Maine's top orthopedic practices have joined forces for more efficient and affordable orthopedic care. Introducing Spectrum Orthopedics.
Welcome back from halftime here in Leavitt. It is halftime, 14-7. Cape Elizabeth leads Leavitt. Cape Elizabeth will get the ball to start the second half. We'll get you scores in just a moment. Right now, Dr. Tom Murray from OA Centers for Orthopedic Spectrum Healthcare Partners joins us now. Team doctor for Cape Elizabeth. What's it like to be a team doctor?
Well, it's a lot of fun. It's a good way to sort of serve the community, and we do everything from high school sports to pro sports, so it varies. Depends on the job at hand.
Yeah, no, I can certainly imagine. Now, I'm sure a lot of folks, I got to ask you, at parties, things of that nature, a lot of people ask you, like, hey, my back hurts, hey, my hip hurts. Do you get hit up? Are you the guy like, hey, can you fix me, real quick? Can you give me any advice or anything? How often does that happen to you?
Part of the reason I come to high school sports instead. That's exactly right. That happens all the time. And it's just part of the job, I guess. Just go with it.
Now, when big pro sports stars get injured, do people text you like, hey, what did that look like to you? Do you get that too?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And once in a while, I'll bite in and I'll render an opinion, but I try to stay out of it if I can.
Right. No, totally. I can totally understand why. Let's talk a little bit about how kids can stay healthy throughout the season and the off season going into the season as well, so they're not starting off maybe behind when it comes to preseason, things of that nature.
I think kids today, most programs have pretty good conditioning programs ahead of time, and so they show up pretty much ready to go. Got two very competitive teams here tonight. It's pretty clear that both teams are well prepared and likely well prepared before they ever showed up to the first day of formal practice this year. So it's basically conditioning. It's hard to prevent injuries per se, but if the kids show up ready to play in good fitness, good condition, then they're going to at least lower their chances to some degree.
How important is it for the kids to have access to a trainer or a team doctor, things of that nature? Even high school athletes, pro athletes are going to have that access all the time. College athletes are going to have some of that access as well in most colleges. But high school athletes, they have to get the treatment during the week as well. Seems like it's an important thing to me, and you're seeing it in a lot of different communities now.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, here tonight, for instance, both teams have athletic trainers. And that's something that's a requirement for high school football here in Maine. Where I trained and grew up in Connecticut, you couldn't kick off a football game without having a doc at the game. And so when I moved here to Maine almost 20 years ago, it was a sort of a natural thing for me to volunteer with my local community program. So that's been a lot of fun for me, and I think it probably helps them out as well.
I really like the little kids playing flag football at halftime because, they are into it, man. They re-energize the crowd. I think it's almost better than a halftime mascot, Dr. Tom.
Oh, I agree completely, absolutely. And they're convinced that they're going to be out here probably just in a few years, and hopefully they will be.
Dr. Tom Murray from OA Centers for Orthopedics and Spectrum Healthcare Partners. He is the Cape Elizabeth team doctor, and he joined us today at halftime to touch base with us. Really appreciate it. I don't know if you're on a health kick or anything. I don't know if you're eating healthy, but there's a ton of fried food downstairs.
Yeah, I smell the fried Oreos.
Yeah, it's like you went to the fair and there's not a single cow here. It's bizarre. It's like you left the fair and came back to the fair and a football game broke out. It's kind of what happened.
I'm with you.
Dr. Tom, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll have more on the way from Leavitt. Cape Elizabeth leads 14-7. We're at the half from the Spectrum Healthcare Partners broadcast booth.
Falmouth Orthopedic Center. Central Maine Orthopedics. OA Centers for Orthopedics. All playing on the same team. Maine's top orthopedic practices have joined forces for more efficient and affordable orthopedic care. Introducing Spectrum Orthopedics.
Our goal here at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to raise your program or group the most amount of money possible in the shortest amount of time, hassle-free.
Over the last 3 years, we've been able to raise over $10,000 every year, which has really allowed us to get the extra stuff the kids really need to run a successful program.
One of our biggest goals at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to really develop a relationship on the ground with the coaches, the community, and the boosters that are involved, and help bring them together and understand how important it is to fundraise.
All aboard MBR.org, the place to get all your high school and amateur sports news and information. MBR.org is in high gear with Maine high school winter sports. Go to MBR.org to chat about your favorite team. Find the latest articles, travel news, and cancellations. Or visit their all-new and very popular team pages. MBR.org has everything you want to know about high school and amateur sports in Maine. Coming in February, all the high school tournament action at your fingertips 24/7. It's high school sports heaven. All aboard MBR.org.
Our goal here at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to raise your program or group the most amount of money possible in the shortest amount of time, hassle-free.
Over the last 3 years, we've been able to raise over $10,000 every year, which has really allowed us to get the extra stuff the kids really need to run a successful program.
One of our biggest goals at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to really develop a relationship on the ground with the coaches, the community, and the boosters that are involved, and help bring them together and understand how important it is to fundraise.
Falmouth Orthopedic Center. Central Maine Orthopedics. OA Centers for Orthopedics. playing on the same team. Maine's top orthopedic practices have joined forces for more efficient and affordable orthopedic care. Introducing Spectrum Orthopedics.
All aboard MBR.org, the place to get all your high school and amateur sports news and information. MBR.org is in high gear with Maine high school winter sports. Go to MBR.org to chat about your favorite team. Find the latest articles, travel news, and cancellations. Or visit their all-new and very popular team pages. MBR.org has everything you want to know about high school and amateur sports in Maine. Coming in February, all the high school tournament action at your fingertips 24/7. It's high school sports heaven. All aboard MBR.org.
Welcome back. We are at the half, 14-7. Leavitt with the lead, trails Cape Elizabeth with the lead over Leavitt here on the Game of the Week. From the Spectrum Healthcare Partners broadcast booth on the radio, it's the CMCC Hammond Lumber Game of the Week on Maine's Big Z 927 and Sports Time 780. Lewiston tied it at 7 with 7:37 remaining in the first half. Tanner Cortez to Hunter Landry with a 52-yard touchdown pass. However, Chevrolet came back. Conant, Tompkins, 34-yard touchdown pass. Chevrolet had a 14-7 lead over Lewiston. Also, another game in Northern A, and that's at the half now. Chevrolet 14-7 over Lewiston. Scarborough currently leading Wyndham 52-0.
Yeah, our production extraordinaire, Johnny Mailer, sideline Spectrum Spotlight, came up and asked if I had heard any news on Wyndham, and I transferred that message. That's a shocker. Not what you would expect to see from a disciplined team like Wyndham giving up that kind of points. I think it says a lot more about Scarborough than it does about Wyndham. We know Wyndham's been banged up the last couple of weeks.
10:20 remaining in halftime here. You got the flag football kids out running around there. It's also a missing Baltimore Ravens football, so if somebody finds that, bring that up to the press box,
if you're listening and you might have stuffed it in your car and you're headed back home, go ahead and stop and bring it back.
Yeah, just you can do that.
The owner needs it.
Yeah, the owner would prefer to have it back. At the half, Edward Little still leads Deering. Score on that's 14-6. Wells leads in their game, 33-0. At the half, Lake Region and York still tied. Those are most of your scores.
Could I ask you a practical question here?
Sure.
Honestly, do you think that Coach Hathaway leaves the huddle film on during halftime? Maybe check some of these guys out, see if anyone's really crisp.
I feel
get an idea on the future.
I feel like it wouldn't be a terrible idea. You know,
not a bad idea.
By the way, at the half, York leads Lake Region 13-6 in that one. Just in case you were wondering. Oh, Trevor Valliere did get Wyndham a touchdown before the end of the half. Scarborough 52, Wyndham 7.
Trevor.
Messalonsky and Brewer. It was 29-20. Messalonsky's Austin Pelletier in the first half. This is first half rushing for Messalonsky's running back. 20 carries, 208 yards, 2 touchdowns. First half.
Wow. Have a day.
Have a day.
He might earn a couple of stars.
I think he might. We'll take a break. We'll come back with more. It is the Game of the Week from the Spectrum Healthcare Partners broadcast booth. Video stream MBR.org. Of course, you can subscribe to MBR Sport on YouTube. Get notified as soon as we go live. And, of course, if you listen on the radio, it's the CMCC Hammond Lumber Game of the Week. We will be right back.
Our goal here at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to raise your program or group the most amount of money possible in the shortest amount of time, hassle-free.
Over the last 3 years, we've been able to raise over $10,000 every year, which has really allowed us to get the extra stuff the kids really need to run a successful program.
One of our biggest goals at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to really develop a relationship on the ground with the coaches, the community, and the boosters that are involved, and help bring them together and understand how important it is to fundraise.
All aboard MBR.org, the place to get all your high school and amateur sports news and information. MBR.org is in high gear with Maine high school winter sports. Go to MBR.org to chat about your favorite team. Find the latest articles, travel news, and cancellations. Or visit their all-new and very popular team pages. MBR.org has everything you want to know about high school and amateur sports in Maine. Coming in February, all the high school tournament action at your fingertips 24/7. It's high school sports heaven. All aboard MBR.org.
Falmouth Orthopedic Center. Central Maine Orthopedics. OA Centers for Orthopedics. all play on the same team. Maine's top orthopedic practices have joined forces for more efficient and affordable orthopedic care. Introducing Spectrum Orthopedics.
All aboard MBR.org, the place to get all your high school and amateur sports news and information. MBR.org is in high gear with Maine high school winter sports. Go to MBR.org to chat about your favorite team. Find the latest articles, travel news, and cancellations. Or visit their all-new and very popular team pages. MBR.org has everything you want to know about high school and amateur sports in Maine. Coming in February, all the high school tournament action at your fingertips 24/7. It's high school sports heaven. All aboard MBR.org.
Our goal here at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to raise your program or group the most amount of money possible in the shortest amount of time, hassle-free.
Over the last 3 years, we've been able to raise over $10,000 every year, which has really allowed us to get the extra stuff the kids really need to run a successful program.
One of our biggest goals at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to really develop a relationship on the ground with the coaches, the community, and the boosters that are involved, and help bring them together and understand how important it is to fundraise.
Falmouth Orthopedic Center. Central Maine Orthopedics. OA Centers for Orthopedics. All play on the same team. Maine's top orthopedic practices have joined forces for more efficient and affordable orthopedic care. Introducing Spectrum Orthopedics.
All aboard MBR.org, the place to get all your high school and amateur sports news and information. MBR.org is in high gear with Maine high school winter sports. Go to MBR.org to chat about your favorite team. Find the latest articles, travel news, and cancellations. Or visit their all-new and very popular team pages. MBR.org has everything you want to know about high school and amateur sports in Maine. Coming in February, all the high school tournament action at your fingertips 24/7. It's high school sports heaven. All aboard MBR.org.
Welcome back. Still at the half here. Cape Elizabeth 14, Leavitt 7. A very quiet Leavitt crowd. This place is full. There's not a lot of room over here.
The Black Ravens football has been found.
Located. It has been found. That young man is very happy. He's got his football back. His mom's probably happier to have the football back, though, because she has got it now.
It is a much more peaceful night for Mom now.
You'd think so, anyways.
Of course, the night's not over.
No, night is definitely not over. Try to get you some more scores from around the region.
So, do they put an extra 5 minutes on the halftime here?
I'm not sure.
And it seemed like the pregame was longer than the normal pregames, but
yeah,
everything's falling right.
I think something's going on there, but we'll see what happens. Not really sure how they've got that whole thing going. It's different everywhere. Like some places start real early, some places start right on time, some places start 8 minutes late. Marshwood leads Falmouth 35-19 with 2 minutes left in that football game. MCI leads Old Town 14-8. Class C North action. Foxcroft leading Mountain View 35-3. And, of course, again, Edward Little leads Deering 14-6. Cheverus leads Lewiston 14-7. Thornton Academy leads Oxford Hills 13-0 at the half. Biddeford over Skowhegan 28-24 at the half. Those teams with black and orange, man, when they meet each other, it's always close and lots of scores for some reason. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's your opponent, well. Everyone's expecting a tight game, a close game. Tell you, this has been a game. We haven't seen a lot of penalties played in this contest between these two teams tonight. And that's kept the match fairly close. We've seen turnovers be a key matchup, a couple of key interceptions and a turnover deep in Leavitt territory that was actually given back. And we didn't want to talk about this play, again, the rest of the game, but there was a touchdown that was whistled inadvertently dead. So, yeah,
we'll see if there's any more hijinks going on the on the officiating end of things. Cape Elizabeth taking the field. Leavitt getting ready to take the field as well here. Officials on their way back out to the field as well. So getting ready to wrap up halftime here at Leavitt. Leavitt trails 14-7 to Cape Elizabeth. Cape Elizabeth get the ball to start the second half. What are you expecting from Leavitt here to start the second half? You think they change anything? Or, I mean, they've had some drives. They just haven't been able to finish them off, really.
Shorten up the passing game. Don't try to throw the ball 15, 20 yards down the field. Coach Wing has talked about it a lot on the B list this year, all throughout the season. We see the high school kids really try to stretch the field more than is necessary. Not necessarily more than they're capable of. That's not the point. Tim Albert is perfectly capable of throwing the football down the field. I think he plays his chances better if he pulls that window into maybe 10, 12 yards, works the tight ends a little bit more, and don't be afraid to go to those slot guys. He's used them in the past. It's a matter of finding that receiver quick enough and delivering the football on time.
Leavitt trails Cape Elizabeth 14-7 at the half. We'll take a break, and we'll be back in about 3 minutes with second half action here on MBR.org on the Game of the Week from the Spectrum Healthcare Partners broadcast booth. On the radio side of things, it's the CMCC Hammond Lumber Game of the Week on Maine's Big Z 92.7 and Sports Time 780. We'll be right back.
Our goal here at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to raise your program or group the most amount of money possible in the shortest amount of time, hassle-free.
Over the last 3 years, we've been able to raise over $10,000 every year, which has really allowed us to get the extra stuff the kids really need to run a successful program.
One of our biggest goals at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to really develop a relationship on the ground with the coaches, the community, and the boosters that are involved, and help bring them together and understand how important it is to fundraise.
All aboard MBR.org, the place to get all your high school and amateur sports news and information. MBR.org is in high gear with Maine high school winter sports. Go to MBR.org to chat about your favorite team. Find the latest articles, travel news, and cancellations. Or visit their all-new and very popular team pages. MBR.org has everything you want to know about high school and amateur sports in Maine. Coming in February, all the high school tournament action at your fingertips 24/7. It's high school sports heaven. All aboard MBR.org.
Falmouth Orthopedic Center, Central Maine Orthopedics, OA Centers for Orthopedics, all playing on the same team. Maine's top orthopedic practices have joined forces for more efficient and affordable orthopedic care. Introducing Spectrum Orthopedics.
Our goal here at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to raise your program or group the most amount of money possible in the shortest amount of time, hassle-free.
Over the last 3 years, we've been able to raise over $10,000 every year, which has really allowed us to get the extra stuff the kids really need to run a successful program.
One of our biggest goals at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to really develop a relationship on the ground with the coaches, the community, and the boosters that are involved, and help bring them together and understand how important it is to fundraise.
All aboard MBR.org, the place to get all your high school and amateur sports news and information. MBR.org is in high gear with Maine high school winter sports. Go to MBR.org to chat about your favorite team. Find the latest articles, travel news, and cancellations. Or visit their all-new and very popular team pages. MBR.org has everything you want to know about high school and amateur sports in Maine. Coming in February, all the high school tournament action at your fingertips 24/7. It's high school sports heaven. All aboard MBR.org.
Welcome back. Just about ready to get underway here for the second half at Leavitt Area High School. Cape Elizabeth leads Leavitt on the Game of the Week from the Spectrum Healthcare Partners broadcast booth. Across the MBR radio network, on the radio on Maine's Big Z 92.7 Sports Time 780. It's the CMCC Hammond Lumber Game of the Week. Leavitt crowd trying to get fired up here.
Both coaches had opportunity to speak with the officials at the break. Wanted to make their individual points.
Cases and points, points and cases.
Sure.
Whatever those may be. Tompkins with an 84-yard touchdown return for Chevrolet. They're leading Lewiston 20-7 to start the second half. Kick is away. And that'll be fielded up to the 29-yard line, and a flag down back at the 24-yard line. That was number 5, Zach Stewart, on the return, but he definitely got some abuse for his trouble. And then, on top of that, there'll be a penalty flag.
Yeah, make the ball carrier pay. That's a big, big, big methodology in terms of creating a little bit of apprehension. Tackle him hard, tackle him low. Cape Elizabeth wanted this, remember. They wanted to defer, get the ball to start the second half. Coach Filio had an opportunity to go in, talk to his club, see what they might do differently here in the second half. Leavitt's got their hands full defensively.
Lawrence gets within 4 of Brunswick after a field goal. It's 20-16 in the third quarter there. Final, Marshwood 42-19 defeats Falmouth. Handoff is going to be Weir. He's going to get up past the 15 after the 17-yard line, gain of 2, 2nd and 8.
It's a tough balance when you've got a fullback like Weir who can really crash in between the tackles and open up that middle of the football field. That's going to cause you to pinch your linebackers, maybe even pinch a safety down. That'll open up the passing game, and that's what Coach Filio is trying to kind of throttle here and see if he can gamble at the right time.
Hartle under center. Back to hand it off, to Weir. Over the 20 to the 22-yard line. Good gain there, and it'll be 3rd and 3. This is pretty manageable for Cape. This is the type of game they want to play. 3rd and 2.
Yeah, plenty of options. A short pass as well as Glanville and Weir have been able to pick up this kind of yardage most of the night. They like to go to the left. Big Luke Houle, the left tackle.
Oceanside leads John Bapps 28-20 at the half. Cowbells in full effect here at Leavitt. Handoff, Weir. He's going to be stopped back inside the 25. See if that's going to be enough for a first down. I think it will be.
Cameron Jordan on the tackle that time from the defensive end spot. Seen him make some great catches offensively that time, shedding his blocker, getting into the backfield, but not tackling him for enough. They're going to set the down markers forward. And a fresh set for the Capers.
10:15 remaining in the third quarter. 14-7, Cape Elizabeth leads Leavitt. Hartle under center, hands it off. That'll be Glanville. He runs it up the middle, skips over a couple of defenders, over the 30 to the 31-yard line. Gain of 6, 2nd and 4.
Chippiness has continued out there. There's a couple of guys in particular. Video people can see it. No need to repeat their names or numbers here. Carrying on down the football field, though. That's the kind of thing that'll cost you a penalty, and you can't have it. Stay disciplined here.
And it'll always happen at the worst possible time.
It'll get called at the worst possible time, no doubt.
Hartle under center. Back to pass, looking, throws, has a man, complete, out past the 35, out to the 40, beautiful spin move, out to the 43-yard line, to the 44. That was a nice play there by number 2, Ethan Convey from Cape Elizabeth. He got taken down by number 75, Riley Parmenter, but not before Cape Elizabeth get another first down, leading 14-7 and starting the second half here, much like they left the first.
Another very athletic play from the wide receiver spot here from the Capers. Maybe the most athletic wide receiver core that we've seen so far in any of the games we've covered, Maddie.
Handoff. It's going to go to Glanville. He's going to be just shy of midfield. Stop at the 49-yard line, gain of 5.
Tell you right now, Cape Elizabeth has found something that's consistently churning away. Almost 8:30 to go. They've been able to take almost 4 minutes off of this clock. Slowly churning with that single touchdown lead.
8:25 remaining in the third quarter, 14-7. Cape Elizabeth with the lead in the football. Handoff, Weir taking tacklers with him down to the 48-yard line of Leavitt. 3rd and 1.
You gain 3 yards, 2 yards, 3 yards. That's 8 yards. That gives you a very manageable down and distance. This is what you're seeing time and time again. Another 3rd and 2, another 3rd and very manageable position here.
Hartle and the Capers ready to go. Leavitt's crowd ready for this defense to get off the field. So far, they've been on the field the entire second half. Handoff is going to be enough for a first down. Actually, you know what? I don't think it is. It's going to be short. Weir got stopped, and where the side judge is marking him is at the 47-yard line, and it's going to be 4th and short for Cape Elizabeth.
Might even lost the yard there, Matty. Looks like it ball marker moved backwards. And no hesitation at all from the coaching side. They're going to go ahead and kick this one away. Watch for the fake here. This is a very, very dangerous area for a fake.
Luke Poole will be punting from back at the Leavitt 42. Low snap. Kick is up. And it's going to take a Cape bounce and is going to just roll into the end zone. Bowen gambled there, and it came up 11. 7 minutes remaining in the third quarter. 5-minute drive there for the Cape Elizabeth Capers, but come up empty. They're up 14-7, and for Leavitt, even though 5 minutes melted off this clock, Steve, the most important thing was you got out of that without allowing another score.
Well, it looked like that Cape Elizabeth offense had just found something, had sort of found the key that unlocked the Hornet defense, able to dig their fields in as soon as they give the ball up towards their territory and get it back here for their first offensive set in the second half with 7 minutes to go in the third.
Albert hands it off. Probably Hudson. Excuse me, that'll be Albert keeping it past the 25 to the 26-yard line. Gain of 6, 2nd and 4.
Play fakes are so strong. I mean, sometimes it's taken 4 or 5 yards down the field to figure out which guy's got it. Luckily, that play.
Leavitt hands it off.